Hello, Misfits, and welcome! This episode is going to be a little bit different. Instead of running a session or giving you DMing advice, me and some of my players are actually going to go back and reminisce about our Curse of Strahd campaign and sort of walk ourselves through it and remember what happened, what we changed, what we enjoyed, and just sort of reminisce and kind of dive into that nostalgic feeling over that campaign. So it's a little bit of a different structure. It's really just us sitting around and discussing it together as a group. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I know some of y'all have expressed interest in our playthrough of Curse of Strahd, so this is kind of the closest you might get at what running that game was like. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it or learn from it, or it will inspire you to run the campaign yourselves. So hope you guys enjoy. Well, okay, so it's been, what, 3-ish?
We finished Strahd when COVID happened.
In 2020. Mm-hmm.
It was in 2020, so yeah, 2.5.
We started Strahd...
Crazy.
We started Strahd in the summer of 2019.
Yes.
I believe. Because I first created my Roll20 account in, like, May of 2019. And then we started. And then we picked MJ up not that far into the campaign, really, because I
think it's like, what, 3 sessions with Jarrell? And then
something like that, yeah.
I don't even think he was at all of them. Yeah. And before we get into, like, what happened, we should talk about the fact that, like, this was our first ever virtual campaign, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think our very first session, we were in person, but like I moved after that. Casey had already moved. Claudia, you were getting ready to move, or something.
No, I was in Auburn. You were in Auburn.
You were still in Auburn for at least a year after that.
For a year, and then you moved. Yeah.
I moved during the campaign 1, or the
Now, for me, when everybody started moving away and stuff, I was like, well, the thought of finding a new group of people to play with is not an option, so we're gonna find a way to do this virtually. But, like, I don't know, what did y'all think of playing D&D not in person?
I was so relieved because I was the first one to move, so I was like, yay, I get to keep playing.
Yeah.
So I had actually run a campaign on Roll20. I mean, it fizzled out after like a few sessions, but so like I was already familiar with and had run stuff virtually, and at that time I was also part of Horizon Kingdoms, and we were doing everything through Discord and Roll20. So
it wasn't as new a thing to you.
Yeah, I was already used to doing it because I'd been doing it for a couple of years at that point.
Yeah.
Or
for me,
1 year-ish.
Y'all know I had already started like my Glitter Hearts one, and that was all.
Yeah.
We were across.
Yeah.
Glitter Hearts. That was a campaign.
Forgot about Glitter Hearts.
And that was across like multiple different states as well. So it already played virtually some. I was just glad that we all got to play together still, because like y'all are my best friends. So
period.
It was nice that we didn't have to just stop playing, and we actually have this kind of technology now.
MJ, had you ever played D&D virtually before?
No, up until I talked to Casey about it. We just done a couple of games, me and a couple of buddies, and the hardest part was, of course, scheduling, getting everyone together at the same point, and after, the Lost Mines of Phandelver, we did that, strew that over, I don't know however many months it took. I mean, it was...
It took us years.
It literally took us a year.
But this is great. I mean, I love seeing you guys every week. I really do,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's something I actually really and truly look forward to every Sunday. I tell people
Same.
about it too. I'm like, hey,
Same.
I can't 7 on because I have D&D. That's how it is.
I love it.
Yep.
I learned a lot in that first year of using Roll20. But
Well, this was also your first time ever DMing.
this was my first time
Yes.
DMing.
You had a lot of stuff to get used to.
It was so funny because it was your first time DMing, first time using Roll20, and your first time DMing, you did Curse of Strahd, which might be the most, like, I don't know.
Literally everybody says not to do what I did. They're like, all right, don't run a full campaign, just do a one shot. Like, don't do it virtually, or if you do, don't do a full campaign. Like,
Also, you were going to grad school? Or was
Yeah.
that?
yeah,
Was that
I was
campaign one that you went to grad
Yes.
school?
I was going to grad school.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, it's fine. Who needs sleep? All right, well, let's talk about the actual game itself. So, in the first, level, and we started at level 5, so we skipped Death House completely. We just took the Lost Minds characters and threw them into Barovia. And so, those first couple sessions, the first thing that y'all did was y'all received that invitation to help the burgomaster in the village of Barovia, and you got trapped in Barovia, and you met Lord Vasily von Holtz on the road on the way there, and met some of the Vistani. They tried to take some things from you.
Yeah.
Made it to Barovia, of course, and I think basically that first level, I think y'all leveled up after you defeated the vampire in the bottom of the church, Donovich. I think that was your first big milestone. Was killing it was his son or something that had been turned. But I don't know, any thoughts on that first sort of section? Were y'all always on to, did y'all know from off the bat that Vasily was Strahd?
No.
I didn't.
Oh,
No.
heck no.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
Honestly, for the longest time, I was just ticked that someone kept trying to take part of my cloak.
Yes.
Yes, I
Other
tried to
Vistani.
take part of your cloak
Yeah.
so that I could try better, because I'd have something that belonged to you. And
That was the only thing I was suspicious of, though. I was like, why
well,
would you?
you noticed me immediately, so it
Yep.
turned into a fight and a big deal. They were supposed to just sort of take you to the village, and they were evil, but not, they were trying to appear good at first, but then
Yeah,
you noticed,
I wasn't supposed to notice.
you noticed that, and it was bad, and then that turned into a fight, and that was a whole thing. And the vampire in the bottom of the church, you guys completely owned him. Because he never even got out of, the first little room he is in, essentially. He broke out of the basement and then was trapped in a tiny room. Y'all completely destroyed him. I think I was playing as Bear in that session, and I think I got the killing blow, if I remember correctly.
You were like,
I was about to say,
I was so
for some reason I
mad.
don't remember this, but yeah, me not being there would make sense.
I was so
Right.
mad. I was like,
There
Yeah.
was 1 or 2 sessions at the beginning where I couldn't.
those first
Make
couple
it.
of sessions, I was like, okay, I think I need to adjust things so that this balances better. I was flying by the seat of my pants.
Couldn't tell.
What else happened?
Same.
Dream pie.
dream pasties.
That's a different
You can't
thing.
say
The
that.
dream pasties?
Different thing.
Pies.
Different thing. Different.
I
Or
literally
YouTube.
said, I wrote, take you on a blind trip. Some parents think a child is a good cost.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all caught her like basically selling pies, but like you don't pay with money, you pay with children.
I think I stole the child back.
You
Didn't I
did.
rescue
You
the child?
did.
Was that Freak or was that a different kid? That might have been
No.
Lucian.
I think Freak,
Freak was in the mill.
was the one that we
God.
rescued from the windmill.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember
But-
that wrong.
No,
I think that's right.
No, I think you're
I
right.
think you're right. No, I think you're right.
So you're in Barovia, and you kind of get tasked with going and taking Irina to the town of Valaki. And along the way, you meet Madame Ava and get the your fortunes read, essentially. And the tarot card, that's what the first milestone, completing the card reading with Madame Ava. That's what I set it as. And this was also where you got the Sun Sword. It was all right there. Now, I just chose the cards that got pulled. And, I mean, I don't know. I never really asked y'all if that was okay. But that's what I did. But, I don't know. I feel like I tried to pick
I feel like
the best
that's, I don't know. I feel like that's like kind of difficult to like ask for consent for, to not spoil. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of,
Yeah.
And I think it's easier as the DM so that you're not leaving that shit up to chance.
Yeah.
Because that would be a lot harder to figure out how everything
I'm not gonna
fits in
lie.
and goes together.
So y'all knew initially I was the DM for Minds of Phandelver, and I was initially going to DM this, and then I was like, I'm too busy working 3 jobs while also going to school, and Amanda was like, I can do it. I did randomize the tarot cards. I like drew them randomly. I like rolled the dice as you were supposed to, as it told you to do in the book and stuff like that. And some of them, I was like, holy moly, the like item that you needed to defeat Strahd was like in Strahd's castle. I was like,
Some of them were bad.
no.
how could anyone
Because you
have...
talked to me about it, like,
Yeah.
because I started expressing interest in DMing, and you talked to me a little bit about what you had read and what you had done. Yeah.
For people watching, I didn't get very far in that book. I knew nothing. So when I was playing it, couldn't even metagame. It was like perfect. It was amazing.
But when I read through the campaign book like twice. I read through it twice, and like took a lot of notes and like went crazy. But there are some places in the story where if you don't have a reason to go there, like, why would you go there? Like, literally the Amber Temple. There's like, if there's not an item in there, why are you gonna go out of your way to go to literally the furthest point on the map to this place that is awful? I mean, it's awesome, but it's like, only bad stuff happens there.
The walls are amber, the floors are amber, the ceiling is amber.
Everything is amber.
Walk into the next room. As you see.
It's amber.
Amber, everything.
Amber everywhere. And also, I had come up with the idea for the Sun Sword, and so I knew I wanted to give that to y'all as early as possible so that I could do all the dreams and all of that stuff. And have that be like this sort of ongoing plot throughout the story. Soon after y'all hung out with Madame Ava, Irina got kidnapped in the middle of the night. She got taken from you. And later we revealed that it was the Were-Ravens that took her. But I think at the time you were like, Strahd's got her. or something.
I mean,
I'm sure that's what we thought.
That's like the most
And then we
apropos
got that
thing.
nice little invitation.
Yes, so
Yeah.
Irina disappears, gets taken after talking to Madame Ava, and you get your invitation to the castle. And this is like the last place that y'all went before MJ joined, was the castle. And you guys don't know this, but in the campaign book, as it's written and described, you really don't get an opportunity to get invited to the castle until, like, you're in Vallaki or you've completed the Vallaki stuff. So, I don't know. Thoughts on going there a little earlier and getting an earlier taste of that?
I like that though, because again, it introduces a villain early. So, or at least maybe not, because we didn't actually see Strahd in the castle. We just saw his we saw his lackey.
Well, actually, the lackey in that scenario was just Strahd in disguise.
Of course.
That's why when you run into that's why when you run it, I guess it never came up, but that's why when you run into the lackey later, he has a thing, Rahadin or Rahadin, like if you're near him, you have to make like a wisdom save and you hear like screams and stuff. I don't know if y'all remember that. But when y'all were at the castle, that never happened because that's not something that happens with Strahd. And at some point you pointed that out. You're like, this didn't happen the last time we talked to this guy. And I was like, you're right, it didn't.
We were just like, oh, that's weird.
Weird.
I think with that was just
fighting right now.
just like, oh yeah, shit's fucked up here.
Yeah,
like,
it's Barovia. It sucks, and sometimes
you hear the screams
more.
of the damned when you get close to this dude. It's fine.
Yeah. So no, y'all did meet Strahd. I mean, you'd already met him as Vasily as well.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about Cyrus? Like the
No, not Cyrus.
Yeah. Okay.
There's I think he's a drow.
Rahadi. Okay, I got to that part in my notes. We're good. Okay.
Yeah, Cyrus is at the castle. Cyrus. And then y'all explore the castle a little bit. And yeah, yeah, Emily, you did most of the exploring and you found yourself face to face with just a terrible enemy. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was doing a whole bunch of exploring, and I think I went down the stairs or up the stairs that were to the left when you entered the entryway. I ended up in this office, and there was this other door, but I also heard movement, so I was like, well, I'm not going in that door. And I open this door, and Strahd, like, comes flying at me, and I flip out of the course. I'm, like, scared. I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to die. Like, we're, like, 2 sessions in, and I'm going to die. But it was just a dummy. It was literally just a trip-wired dummy.
I love that scared you and freaked you out, because when I read about that, when I'm like, all right, it's a dummy on a string, I'm like, there's no way this is gonna.
It was how you described it. Like, I thought it was Strahd.
Well, and he's supposed to get like his own like initiative as a dummy. I'm pretty sure. No, that was hilarious. And then y'all hightailed it out of there, which I was fortunate for, just because you never know what's gonna happen in that castle.
No.
But y'all,
was there a reason for like having that dummy? Like,
it's just
look,
we're talking about a guy that has basically, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's basically been like quarantining at home for 400 years. This man has been trapped in his own pocket dimension in his castle for 400 years. He might be super intelligent, but I feel like he's a little crazy.
I feel like that would make it worse.
We kind of knew he was crazy because he's basically like pining after this girl who's dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that she reincarnates.
Dead, like, kind of, but yeah.
Right, yeah.
So at this point in time, wasn't it Jarrell's character that had the sun sword?
Yes.
Jarrell's character had the sun sword. So I think actually we hadn't had a dream.
But he'd like, because
y'all had a joint fever dream together.
We did.
And I used that to tease some other things that would happen.
But I read my notes and it said that like the sword was angry when it looked at some portraits and then like really sad when it looked at Irina's.
Yes.
So we were getting feelings from this.
Yes.
Well, what was his name? Something of Skyrim.
Spyro.
No. This
Yeah.
was
Oh, no, it's a different character.
Oh, wait,
Oh, this is Rawl.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
okay.
Rawl. Okay, you're right. Spyro was before.
Spyro left after Lost Minds.
Yeah, and so like, I mean, part of why I made the sword Sergei is so that I could, in a way, communicate all this lore to you guys that you wouldn't necessarily know about otherwise. And I just thought that was interesting. All right, you guys leave the castle, and pretty soon after that, you guys ran into MJ's character, which was Burr. Right?
Burzak, yes.
Burzak.
Such great times.
And you were, let's see, you had been...
I'd been like captured.
was
I'd
tied
walked
up by
through a
bandits.
mist. Yeah.
Yes.
I still remember that first campaign, that first session we got together. I still do.
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah, you had been captured and then they saved you. Oh, I found a dream. Do you want me to read it?
Oh yeah.
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 As everyone drifts off at different times, you all see the same series of images and sounds in your sleep. A woman falling, a man crying out in anguish, two figures fighting on the battlements of Castle Ravenloft, a gleaming sword with a glowing stone in its pommel, a bloody hand reaching for it and falling limp, a hooded figure desperately hammering away at something, the sound of metal shattering, a winding road to a village with a church high on a hill. A whining voice mutter, "He can't know. He can't find out." A pond with a mirror-like surface. The hooded figure throwing something into the water and running away. A different voice says, "I didn't do it! You have to believe that I didn't do it!" There's a burst of sunlight and you wake up. That was the dream.
Wow. Wow.
The woman falling
back.
was Irina, or Tatiana, because she throws herself off the castle. I believe the man crying out in anguish was meant to be Strahd.
I think so, yeah.
And I think the two figures fighting on the battlements is Strahd and Sergei fighting. Gleaming sun sword with the stone in its pommel, because in our version it's missing the stone and you'll have to put it back together for it to function correctly. Bloody hand reaching for it, falling limp, Sergei dying. And then something about, there's like something in the lore of like, somebody was told to dispose of the sun sword, like a lackey was told to dispose of it, but like obviously doesn't, because y'all can find it and use it in the campaign. So this was me like, all right, the sword gets broken, pieces of it get thrown somewhere. The mirror-like surface pond is that pool in Kresk where y'all find the rest of it. So this was like me touching on these different things that you would hit later. Anyway, Burr joins, and I believe you also had a run-in with some werewolves around that time as well. What was
That made me so mad.
what was his name? Dareth?
Yes.
We called him fucking Derek for like 3 weeks.
Oh, that made me so mad.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was like the... Honestly, now, Bigler, it's become like a running joke of you failing con saves that like, are really important.
Yeah, it really has. There's
werewolf to hippo.
I investigate the werewolf and roll a nat 20 for whether he's a vampire. He's not a vampire. Then I get bit. I fail. I have to go get saved. And is the episode up yet?
Of what?
Of hippo.
Oh, no, it's not up yet.
Well, I won't talk on that.
I have to fix some audio on the Halloween game from that before we
Is-
get
Got you.
hippo.
Well, I won't talk about that then.
Is the Black
But then-
Dragon thing up?
Black Dragon's not up yet. Oh wait,
I don't think
no,
so.
no, it is. No, it is.
No, it is. Yeah,
It's
me
all
getting bit in the water,
Literally,
failing that.
the last episode I uploaded is the end of the time loop arc.
Okay.
So all the dragon stuff is up. Literally, the next thing is the Halloween stuff, which I'm just behind on.
Oh my god.
We can talk about her failing that con save when she stepped in the water.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened.
What was
Literally
that?
the session we played tonight.
It was like
That was a wisdom save.
That was wisdom, but it was like just poisoned water or whatever.
Oh.
It's like
Just nasty ass water and then getting sick.
we're getting off topic.
Sorry.
So
My bad.
you fail this con save and essentially attract lycanthropy, and then like because that happened, I'm like, well, I guess they're gonna have to go back to Madame Ava, which I wasn't planning on you having to backtrack to that, but it happened.
But didn't you, Madame Ava, like, gave us a vision or something when we were there, so it worked out,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Something happened
And then I think soon after that, I decide that Dareth is going to be a long-running thing. So he comes back as a revenant, and you fight him.
Yes.
And then you also, I think you also get the clues that you need to go to the bone grinder mill, because that's the next big place. So you go to the mill where the witches are. And I added wild magic to this, which was fun.
Yes.
Fun.
Do y'all remember what showed up and helped you guys?
The unicorn.
Is that what the unicorn?
The unicorn.
Yeah.
We rolled a unicorn on wild magic. And it showed up. And it helped you fight.
Forgot about that.
To be fair, of all the wild magic things, that's probably the fucking best thing that could have happened.
I know. I'm pretty sure I rolled like a d20 just to see if it would help you or not. And I think you guys just got lucky. You also, Benji, cast like speak with animals on a chicken that was in this hut. I just remember being
Oh my
like,
god.
I'm not, like, I hate speak with
Sounds
animals.
fucking
I don't, what's this chicken gonna be thinking about? Like, jeez.
And we
Kind of
saved the
thinking
two
about
kids.
Seed.
You saved the kids.
Yeah.
I have them as Yezka and Myrtle.
Yeah. Freak is somewhere.
Oh, Freak. Yeah, no, that is Freak. We take Freak to Yezka. That's what we're supposed to
Take
do.
Freak
That's
to
what we're supposed to
Yezka.
do.
And then Myrtle. You found some potions. I don't think y'all ever actually drank any of them.
Probably not.
We didn't
Probably
use a
not.
lot.
Youth, laughter, and mother's milk.
Oh my god. I remember that was crazy because we were like, what are these? And then I started using them on the chickens or the chicks.
Right!
And seeing their
That's
effects.
right!
We didn't want to risk it by drinking them. So I was just like, oh, let's see what happens. I was a druid, by the way. But
That's
yeah.
right, because I had to role play a chicken overcome with laughter.
Yes. And yes.
And this
I love
is
this
where
game.
you found the broom of flying,
Yes.
which was great.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah, so y'all did that.
And well, the Marnikov gem, right? That was why that was
Yes,
wild
and
magic.
that's where I put one of the Marnikov gems. So there are 3 in the book, but they only give you the location for 2. So they leave the third one up to the DM to decide. So I decided to put it here because, again, I feel like sometimes this location is sort of like, I don't know. If you don't get the clues to go there, you might not go there. But I knew you guys were, and I think I just wanted to put it here just because I didn't know where else to put it, and it gave me an excuse to use wild magic, and I like wild magic because it's chaotic.
It's chaotic.
It's amazing.
Let's see what happened after that. You guys headed to the town of Valaki. So Valaki was like kind of, I feel like Valaki was a big turning point
Yeah.
Yes.
for everything.
I remember that this is when I started to get suspicious of Vasily von
Of Vasily. Well, this is where you run into him again, because like when you first
Yes.
met him, he was like, "All right, well, I'll be in Vallaki. Hit me up if you ever go there, and I'll help you out." And
It was the whole book club thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like Lady Wachter or Wachter or whatever, however you want to pronounce her name. Yeah, she has this like book club, but it's really just
Right.
like her cult
We were-
meetings.
See, we were all like, oh, they
were
fucking.
We
Yeah.
were having orgies.
Really were.
We absolutely thought that's what that was. Oh, God.
But
We knew it wasn't no damn book club. It just was different.
you ran into Vasily again. He talked about his book club, invited you to go. I think instead you just sort of like staked out the house. You didn't actually.
Yes.
Oh, and it was
Like
like disaster.
skeleton.
But
was
you
it not?
didn't even
Yeah.
like go in. Like you snuck around
No.
the back. You kind of went down into the basement, found like a bunch of skeletons, and then noped
Yeah.
out
You're
of
like,
there.
fuck this.
Yeah.
Did one hear us on the way out? Did
Yeah, we
someone hear
almost
us on
got
the way out?
seen.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
you
really
had
close.
to you had to run because they had like heard you and were like going to go look for you.
It was a whole thing.
This is
Yeah.
also where y'all had the encounter at the coffin maker's shop, and we're looking for some bones.
And we kept rolling
And
that.
had trouble finding bones.
Rolled the
How many checks were that? Oh, God.
It was
like
a
at least
lot.
six.
It had to have been like 6 rounds.
It was
awful.
like- it was-
multiple
it was
people
awful.
checking.
It was, yeah. Y'all, oh man, it was so bad. It was so bad, and I was like, I should just give it to them. Like, this is dumb. And
This is
I
also no fun, no Blinsky.
yeah. It's no fun, it's no Blinsky. But in regards to the vampires at the
Oh, yeah.
shop, I kind of changed them a little bit and tried to make them all kind of unique. And this was like, I must have already, by this point, I must have already started working on the Aurelia campaign, because
Right.
I know when I made Donovan, like I made him in mind thinking of Dolly, and that she would pop up in the next campaign. So
That's so crazy to me. That's so crazy to me that you were already thinking Aurelia
Yeah.
that early. Like that. Wow.
That's impressive.
Wow.
But yeah, so in my mind these vampires were like, they were y'all before, basically. They were an adventuring party that were lured here, and they just, obviously it did not work out for them. But I think you guys killed like all of them, or most
think we
of
did.
them.
One getaway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think actually Orma got away. She was the half orc.
Half orc. Yeah.
She got away because she pops up again at the end of the Vallaki stuff. But
Oh God, that's right.
this was like y'all's first real run-in with like a serious vampire threat, though.
Yeah, I remember
Right,
that.
because we were
making me
just
very
finding
nervous.
spawns.
Yeah,
Right?
I was very nervous. when
Yeah,
we
y'all
got
were
those.
super freaked out, but I think y'all also hadn't been in a situation yet where you were fighting vampires with the Sun Sword.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
I think that also, I think y'all sort of realized how powerful that weapon was.
This is also. Didn't we meet Rictavio here?
You
Right?
did meet
Yeah.
Rictavio, and you met the Mardikovs that run the Blue Water Mill, or inn, and you were reunited with Irina as well. So you found out that the Were-Ravens had taken her, not Strahd's
Right.
minions, so she was safe. You kind of got to know the Were-Ravens, and they were sort of like, all right, finally actual good guys that are helping us. And you met Rictavio, but y'all didn't like Rictavio at first. Do y'all remember why?
Didn't he lie to us or like try to spy on us or
like
something?
eavesdropping on
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
And so y'all like did it. You like almost beat him up. I think. Like,
Wasn't he supposed
so
to?
brutal.
Like, you rolled awfully for him or something. He was supposed to have good stealth.
yeah, I botched his stealth roll, and so that was bad.
In our defense, everything else in Barovia so far was not great.
Right. It's
Correct.
just it's so difficult.
Correct.
You know.
Correct. But it was funny. He, I don't know, won you over eventually, I think.
Yeah, I'd
I
say
think it
so.
took a little while, but yeah.
Yeah. And let's see, what else did you guys... Oh, you explored the Burgomaster's house and found his, like, son who had like, that teleportation circle in the attic.
Yes.
And this is also where y'all got the donkey hats.
Yes, the
Oh
Dungeon!
my god! Yeah, because of the festival.
The Festival of the Blazing
Yes.
Sun.
The Blazing Sun. I remember like the townspeople were just so over it, and like the burgomaster was like, "That's the Blazing Sun." Everyone's like, "Oh my god!" It was so awkward.
Donkey hats.
The donkey
Was
The
it
donkey
MJ
hat.
that really
It was
wanted
MJ.
a donkey hat?
Yeah,
I think
that
so.
was totally an
I don't know.
MJ thing. You asked for the donkey hats. I know you did. I know you
Good
did.
times. Oh my gosh.
Oh. But yeah, then we close out Vallaki with the Festival of the Blazing Sun. And this is where like just everything
It was blazing, all right. I tell you.
everything got bad. It does not escalate to this level in the book. I changed it. But I think normally, so like there's the festival and then somebody in the crowd starts laughing or something, and it makes the burgomaster angry, and they're supposed to just get arrested, and then I think in my version they're gonna like hang him like on the spot.
Yes.
And y'all go to intervene and stop it, but then Vasily shows up, turns into Strahd, and like hangs the guy instantly, and it kicks off like a huge fight. I don't know, was that
That was so scary.
shocking?
I just remember being so freaked out the whole time. We were like, God, where's Irina? Where's safety? What do we do? He had a lot of minions with him too.
Yeah.
Fireball the shit out of us.
Yeah, he
I
did.
think he did.
Yes, he
He killed
did.
Donika's husband. He
Yeah.
fireballed her husband, and fireballed the shit out of you guys. He was constantly trying to take the sword from
Is this when I was playing
you were Bear,
Bear?
and he was trying to take the sword from you. Like we were doing like opposed grapple checks, fighting over the sword. Like at the same time,
Bear had like a
cultists.
20 strength.
Yeah, at the same time, well, vampires have big strength too.
Big strength.
Big strength. it was touch and go there. Cultists were attacking the town. Vampire spawns were attacking the town. Like the guards were trying to fight back, but were losing, and everything was getting set on fire.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going super well. So Rictavio gives you an opportunity to leave by staying. And I feel like there was still some animosity towards Rictavio until that. I feel like you're like,
Right,
oh, well, I
that was
guess
his
thanks
Yeah,
for
I guess he's all right now.
thanks for helping us not die. And y'all basically had to like run.
Run
Like
away.
Yeah, I think I had to cast like an ice storm or something to keep him at bay.
you did cast because I think he slipped. I think Strahd.
He did. It was really funny.
That is what happened.
He
It was
slipped.
really funny.
I think I used like a legendary action to like just get up off
See where you would have
the
failed.
ground.
That's
So
funny.
dumb.
Play the field.
Yep. and y'all fled Velaki with Irina. I think you also helped the kids get out of town, maybe, as well.
I think
That
so.
sounds familiar.
Probably.
And one of the next things that happened, soon after that, Emily, you said you wanted to change characters.
Ah, yes.
Did. Yeah, I wanted to play a different class. So we had a little talk and asked a couple questions of the party about what their responses would be to very specific situations. And then,
Do we remember what
didn't
that
get that
question
talk.
was?
huh?
Do you remember what that question was?
It was, so if both Liv and Irina were to both go down, who would you save?
I do not remember this conversation taking place.
No, they
might have
asked,
just-
they asked me what Valera would do.
Okay, you. Okay.
Because I was the only one who could do anything at the time.
I was about to say, yeah. All right.
And
Yeah.
Irina is important to the plot.
So I was like, well,
So Amanda asked me, how many hit points do you have? And I told her, and she, we staged an explosion.
I told you, you told me how many hit points you had. We'd already talked to Casey. And so, Bigler, I told you, okay, just open the next door you come across, I believe is what I told you. And then
And
y'all
there was,
go
like, a
to,
wagon, right?
yeah, y'all go to the tower, and there's a wagon with a door on it outside, and blew you and Irina up. Worked like a champ.
Really did.
and killed you both, and y'all brought back Irina.
and then I had to deliver your stuff to your daughter.
Yeah, Liv totally had like a kid.
What were y'all's thoughts on that whole situation?
I just remember Emily and I were walking home from, I don't know, choir or something. We're like walking home to where we parked. And she was very, very vague about what was going to happen the next session. And she was saying like, yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to like it, or I don't think anyone's going to like it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, geez, okay, I just didn't know what that was. And I was just in complete shock. I was just like, because, I mean, you know, I didn't get the luxury of it talking because I wasn't going to revive anybody. But I just was like, I was in shock, and I was just like, oh my god, Emily's character just died like that. Like, what?
I have written here that it was 105 points of damage.
Yeah, I think I was just on her character sheet. How many hit points did she have? She had
Because I had to get you at your negative.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, she's on dead, so it doesn't show. I'd have to bring her back to life.
And then I have written down, Revivify will be required to save Irina or Liv. But almost immediately after that, Esmeralda strolled up with her pal, Coops. Were y'all expecting Bigler's new character to show up that soon?
No, I think her new character asked about the exploded wagon, and I was like...
I think I did.
I
wasn't expecting my character to show up that soon either. I expected to like chill for the rest of the session, if I'm being honest.
I didn't think
Like
it'd
not
be
in a
bad.
bad way. I just didn't think that I'd be able to get introduced that quick.
I also think at this time, I don't.
This was like at the tower, right?
We were at the tower. This is at the tower.
Yeah.
I think at this time I was already like, I want to get through this campaign so we can start the next one. So I was already really excited about the next campaign. So I used your new character to kind of like your character had done things with Irina and collected things and like had already accomplished stuff.
Esmeralda, you mean?
Gem or
Sorry,
something?
yeah, Esmeralda. Yeah, y'all had one of the Mardukov gems already, and Esmeralda knew where the Amber Temple was.
Oh my gosh, Amber Temple.
We're almost there.
We're almost there, yes.
But like, I'd sort of use that to kind of fill in the gaps of places that maybe y'all weren't going to go to, or just sort of, I don't know, flesh things out in that way. The next place that y'all went to was Argynvoshtolt.
Yeah.
And y'all recover the Tome of Strahd there. Argynvoshtolt, I'm trying to think of, like, any...
Didn't we fight Dareth there again as a Revenant? Or am I tripping balls?
Didn't fight...
Or was it just Revenants in general, not Dareth?
You didn't fight Dareth there, but I think almost everybody there were Revenants. They were just, like, different things.
Okay.
Isn't that the one where in the attic there was like that whole thing with like a king or like a throne or something?
So there was like a throne, and these were like the knights of Argynvost or something. I don't have the book in
and the
front of
gay
me.
ghost.
The gay ghosts, yeah.
I love them.
But y'all fought them. And the beacon of Argynvost or Argynvoshtolt was missing, which you later find in the castle. But so some of that was sort of mentioned, but you like were able to like talk them down or something. Like you didn't kill them or something. I
remember.
I think you were able to talk them down because I think y'all reunited the gay ghosts or something, and they like let you live.
I think so.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
We
still
love them. We wish them a very happy afterlife.
Yeah. This is all still pre like playing every week. We still weren't on a set schedule yet.
Yeah.
But we're getting close.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll go to the Wizards of the Wine. You meet with the other Mardikovs, the other Were-Ravens. And I think somebody from there kind of gives you information on Berez, which is where Baba Lysaga is. Bottom Lysaga.
Bottom Lysaga.
She might bottom. We don't know.
She might. We don't know.
Baba Lysaga. In her creeping hut. And honestly, I love that encounter. Just because I love the creeping hut. It's got like a huge reach. It has like a 60-foot reach or something.
Yeah.
And like she's like flying around in that fight. I just really enjoyed that one.
My God, I just remember I was talking with my mom about that fight, and I had to explain to her who Baba Yaga is.
Baba Yaga.
Right.
Baba Yaga.
I was like, it's basically Baba Yaga, and she was like,
Who is that?
who the fuck? I was like, Baba Yaga from like Slavic folklore.
You don't know. Come on. Yeah. I think this is also where y'all learn that Irina has more than one past life. Like, Tatiana was the original, but y'all learn about Marina here. And that happens. And then, where do you go?
I just had I don't remember where this was in the campaign, but I'm looking through my spells right now, and I found Gios. And did tell someone to there was like some sort of encounter on a bridge, and I gave someone like a really interesting.
We'll get there. It's on the way to the Amber Temple.
Okay.
I totally forgot about that one. Yeah.
All right. All that happens. Y'all actually didn't go there. The next place you go is Kresk.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
Kresk is like, y'all have basically been told that like, all right, Vallaki that wasn't going to work for keeping Irina safe. The whole town burned down. Not going to work. Kresk was like the last place to go. And you're like, all right, there's like, like a abbey up on the hill. It's safe. Like, it's going to be great. There's an abbot there. He'll be helpful. And then you get there and it's like the worst. It's the worst place.
Isn't like one of the first things that happened there where we got attacked by a demon child?
Yeah, it was. What was it? I don't even know if we know his
Well,
name. Did he
I
have a
don't
name?
think that was the first thing that happened. I think
I can't remember what the first thing was.
because I remember building up to it because like at first
Yeah.
you see this like cute little kid and he like humorously is like piling food onto his plate, and then it
Yes.
becomes this like long running joke of he's always hungry and always trying to
Yes.
eat,
Yes.
and then
Is this the
like
place with the like robotic lady too, or the like?
yeah, flesh.
Yeah,
golem,
the
so
flesh
not-
golem. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that.
And then like some of the goats would go missing at the like farm in town.
That's right.
You know,
yeah.
found out that
Pasture.
he was the kid was eating the goats, and you had to fight.
Oh yeah, because we were like staying with this family, and like that was when we scouted out the Abbey and found out all the fucked up shit that was going on in the Abbey.
Yes. Also, I might be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure you guys like there was something that you did before you had even explored like the place. You somehow pissed off the abbot like immediately, but then like I think he failed initiative or something. Like he rolled terribly, and you guys like killed him like within 2 rounds.
The Deva. He was a Deva, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all like
I don't remember this at all.
y'all wrecked him.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
like
yeah.
I can't
I was
remember.
like,
I can't
oh,
remember
it's gonna
what,
be
yeah.
this big, huge fight. It's gonna be super cool.
Yeah.
And then he was
I think Bear
dead
grappled him, and
so
then
quickly. Yeah.
Versnap
Yeah.
just unloaded like 6
Yes.
attacks into
Well,
him.
because Coops like tried to let out some of the
It had to do with the
like
Dr. Moreau
Cyrus's
stuff.
siblings.
Yeah.
The ones in the little jail cells or
Yeah,
whatever.
you went to
Yeah.
let some of them out, and he got mad and
Yeah,
attacked.
okay, I do remember that.
Yeah.
And y'all just like wrecked him.
We totally wrecked his shit. I have a question about the kid. What actually was the kid? Like creature wise, like what was he?
What was
Just
So he was like an added thing.
right.
I found that addition like on some Reddit or something. But I don't remember what his stat block was. But essentially he is like a demon kid. Cause like their son had died, had gotten sick and died. And the mom
And
like
they had
did not handle
yeah.
it well. So she took him, I think, to
the abbot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
but
did.
yeah.
and like I don't know what she gave him, but essentially something was inhabiting the body of her son, but it was no longer her son.
Effing Pet Cemetery or some shit.
Let's see. Ilya's body and soul have been tainted from his time in the Barovian afterlife. He's been cursed with gluttony to the point where he is perpetually hungry. At first, this only means that he eats bigger meals than a normal child would, which is easily excused by the fact that he's been recently revived. However, as time goes on, Ilya's hunger grows and grows to the point where it physically pains him unless he's eating something. It eventually gets to the point where Ilya is quite literally always starving to death. So.
God.
And then I put,
awful.
and you guessed it, that's where the sheep are going.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being I feel like it was kind of a. Wasn't the Ilya fight kind of rough though?
I think that ended up being a bigger fight than the abbot. Like,
I think
the abbot was a wash. And
Yeah.
then here, after Ilya's hunger destroys Kresk's food stocks, because Kresk, the people of Kresk were starting to starve because Ilya was eating all the he moves on and starts eating residents instead. All of this will eventually culminate into a fight with Ilya's pained and monstrous form. By this point, his hunger will have stolen any humanity he has left, as well as altered him physically. Yeah.
Sheesh.
So, I think also at this time, Irina started to have trouble sleeping, but you guys also found the pool that y'all were having dreams about.
Yes. Best session. That
That was so fun.
Yeah, I I remember y'all like talking about like I don't know how much you liked that one, and I just remember like being really happy about that. I don't know. It's a good one.
Well, I think the really cool part about it was a lot of it was like your own stuff.
Oh yeah,
It was
it's always
fun.
great.
And I can see that I have tried, like I have all these like, if this happens, then this happens written down. Cause like you had a dream, Bear. You had a dream first, I think, before you took the sword to the water. Where you saw Irina, but like she was off or something. Like you started getting suspicious. And I have all these like, if you refer to her as Irina as opposed to Tatiana, it would create this reaction. If you touch the sword to the water, then this will happen. I don't know. I wrote so much when I did this, and now I don't write nearly as much down, but it's funny.
I don't want to derail this, but I am curious, like, when are we going to get to when Coops became a fallen ASMR and had that dream?
For sure.
That she didn't use her wings to fly because she was
Oh,
falling.
we're so getting there. So you
Because I just randomly thought of that. I'm sorry.
absolutely. You guys go to the pool. You fix the sun sword. I think finally Sergei talks to you, and y'all have this solution of like, Irina's soul is gonna go into the sword for the time being, and she'll be at least safe there. And so that became a thing. And then the next place you guys go is essentially the Amber Temple. You meet one of the last witches that survived from that encounter. You met her on the bridge on the way there, and then that's when you do the Gios thing.
What did I do? What did I tell her to do? I don't remember. I just
don't
remember
what
we
you-
didn't know how to react to it.
I don't remember what you told her to do either, honestly.
Did you tell her to like jump off the bridge or something?
No, because Gios
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, that was
You
chaos.
can't. You're right. What would you have told her to do?
It was her, and it was like a giant bird attacked you too, but
Oh,
Did I tell her to
the
just like turn around and walk and keep walking or something like that?
remember. I really
Because I
don't.
think I cast it at a high enough level. It like lasted for like
It
a
was
month.
a while.
or something.
It was interesting. It was
I wish I
something.
remembered what I said.
You'll have to think on it.
Well, I didn't take notes.
But we go to the Amber Temple.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, what a place.
And so this, like, didn't go the way I thought it would go.
How did you think it was going to go?
How so?
How did you actually think it was going to go?
I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
two of you to become evil. Let's just put it that way. I know what I wanted. I really wanted one of y'all to get the ability to do true resurrection without you know, I wanted one of y'all to get that skill, if you could. You had to get something from the Amber Temple. I don't remember exactly. Oh, recover
Was
the
it-
holy symbol of Ravenkind.
You want to know what I remember about that? It was in the one room that no one else wanted to search, so I went in alone. After I'd already turned evil, bear in mind, because I was doing all the different little coffins right in front of that room.
Well, and you were convinced. Like, y'all
The
were
whole time it was in
convinced
there.
that, like, something was in the room or something. But,
And
like,
no one else believed me. So I went alone meanwhile everyone else is searching the library up above. And I finally found, something else happened in there too or something, and I almost missed it or something.
yeah,
I don't remember.
It was something.
I do remember I almost woke up vampires.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, and y'all met, the Lich.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I also managed to piss off.
Because you tried to steal his spell book.
Hey, at that point, it wasn't me. I was power hungry. I couldn't control that.
This is true.
You
I did what I would have
literally-
done.
Excuses.
You literally took the one gift that like would have resulted in you becoming a vampire, like, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
if it had gone poorly, you would have been the next Strahd. Like,
Yeah. It's true.
and Bear became evil, which like from a roleplay standpoint broke my brain because like Bear's like such a good guy. It's just like
He's good. But he's stupid, but he's good.
I know, it's like, how do we do dumb evil? Like, how do we
And
do
that was the point that we were both talking to you individually about our goals.
I
And you
know.
were like having to make plans upon backup plans about like what would happen.
Yeah.
And
So you both turned evil, and I was like, well, okay, I need to make a few contingency plans for the end of this campaign. Because, like, both of you essentially said, all right, we're going to, like, have Strahd kind of weed out the party and then, like, hopefully take care of everything, and then I'll come in and take out whoever's left. Like, you essentially both... You essentially both had that same plan. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, if it's Coops versus Bear, I think I know who's gonna win.
I mean, you say that, but my Big B's hand came
I
in
know.
freaking clutch.
It would
did
be
it not?
close
It
if he got in and like physically
He also had-
connected.
I also had like 6
Hellhounds.
billion health hit points and
But if she
Hellhounds.
hit you with a wisdom something or a
His
charisma,
wisdom was pretty high. His
It was the-
I could have
intelligence
literally,
sucked.
if I managed to cast Gios on you and told you to just stop attacking me,
it would have been interesting. It would have been
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't know.
I just remember, I can't, like, we were, like, I don't know if this was Tiny Hut or if this was after the temple, but I just remember Benji being like, I think Amanda's like, oh, is there anything you want to do? And Benji was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna write down some notes in Giant. And I think Emily was like, I want to cast comprehend languages. And I just remember, we were just kind of looking on like, good God, what is
I
created?
think she rethought that because for comprehend
Because it's a
languages, if it's
verbal
written down,
component?
you have to touch it.
Oh, right. I remember there was something that,
Yeah.
That
You have to-
whole like the whole rest of the game, I was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So, also, while you guys were in the temple, you found the model of the castle. Like, there's a model of Castle Ravenloft, and y'all made
we, like,
Irina.
memorized it.
Not Irina. You made Esmeralda stay up all night and try to memorize the floor plan. So I remember
and she took a point of exhaustion.
she
for
took a
it.
point of exhaustion for it, and I remember just like dividing the castle into like sections or floors, and then I had her roll like an intelligence roll for like each one to like try and remember it. And she did pretty well on the levels that y'all needed, so it was like, man, it's fine. After y'all left the Amber Temple, Coops, you had your fall from grace.
I did.
Which, why? I actually don't know. I can't remember why. Like, why Mr. was so pissed.
Oh,
because you were evil!
right?
Yeah,
was evil.
okay. It's all coming together. Okay, yes.
I created like a completely different character sheet, I think, for you that I don't
In
know
case I turned into a vampire.
in case you turn into a vampire, and then like I took away your ability to fly. You didn't fly in the dream.
It was so
It's
bad.
frustrating. It's fine.
We're all just like, what?
We hit all the narrative moments we needed to. It's fine.
Oh, God.
Okay, y'all go to the castle. And you start exploring the castle. Because of Esmeralda, you know where to go, essentially. So you found the back way in, you go down. Because you know that you need to go to the crypt. Because you believe he will be there. And on your way to the crypt, we come across this little teleportation puzzle.
God.
I'm sorry. Didn't the whole thing where I out myself as wanting to be a vampire happen before that? Because then we get cured.
I don't remember if it happened before or after.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
well,
think
that's-
actually,
Before.
I think you were good by the time you got.
I think I
got
was
it.
as well.
but by the
By the time
time
I got yeeted.
okay, then that would mean that before you
think-
get to the teleportation puzzle, you guys met Rictavio again.
Yes.
Yes.
What were y'all's thoughts on him being a vamp?
I just remember you effing saying like already like in the group chat you were like when Rictavio, I think when he like stayed behind in Valaki or something, I don't know, but there was sometime before this in the group chat you were like, yeah, I really hope he doesn't become a vampire. I really hope he doesn't become what he has sought to destroy this whole time. And then that's what he was. And I was just like, God damn.
Well, and after we'd heard a lot more about his backstory from Esmeralda, like it
Oh yeah, that too, and his notes and
hurt
yeah.
a little more, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think there were ways in which he could have not, like, but because y'all had to run from Valaki, like, you just never knew what happened to his body, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he became a vampire, you fought him. You, Bigel,
Wait,
you
no.
outed yourself as a villain. You closed
Yeah,
the
I
door. You closed the door, shutting yourself off for the rest of the party, and then just, like, proclaimed that you were evil and you wanted to,
There
like,
was like no thought process.
take over.
And they just listened at the door
Yep.
and heard me say everything.
But you fought Rictavio, you defeated him, and then after that, you
I think
guys,
Bear went to swing on her.
Bear went to swing at her,
Yes.
and was it Valera that saved them both?
Mm-hmm.
Turned them back both.
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because it was like
It was like
you cast a greater restoration.
greater restoration or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turning back to good, which I was like, oh, thank God. Then we get to
We
the
were like, what the
teleportation.
fuck? Yeah.
we
We
get
were
to
like,
the
what the fuck? And
teleportation
then you were
puzzle.
like, do you want to roll an Arcana check and see if you can see this?
like,
You were
hey,
just
make this
you were
roll.
so badly wanting out of it. Yeah.
Make this roll and please roll well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did. I think actually, like, I think the second one you barely succeeded. Like, it was like you remembered that you had, like, something, or you got to re-roll. It was close. Like, you almost didn't get high enough, but you were able to. Teleportation puzzle happens, and so where'd you end up, Biggs?
I ended up all the way back in the coffin maker shop, did I not? Yeah.
In
That's what I
Valaki.
remember happening.
I think this
too.
is the most stressed I've ever seen MJ.
Yes. My brain.
Literally,
All.
Like,
MJ was like, I just don't know what to do.
like
In
we
character
were,
and out of character.
we
freaking
were
out.
all sitting at our computers, but in my mind, you were pacing back and forth.
I was legit. My brain was gone. I don't think I've ever been so stumped in my life.
You got
We were so
teleported.
confident too.
You got
We were
teleported
so confident.
to the coffin maker shop while the rest of the party is still in the castle. So we just sort of had to, like, kind of just make up bullshit a way for you to get back. You ran into some, like, were-raven, and they gave you a feather totem, and you flew on a giant bird all the way back to the castle, and then dimension doored back to where they were.
Yep.
It was so absurd. But that happens. You reunite with the party. You resurrect Sergei, and he
Yeah.
helped you fight Strahd. I don't know. Are there any moments from the Strahd fight itself that, I don't know, ring any bells? Or
I remember Esmeralda going down and then getting her back up. I remember the nightmare. Were there bats or something? Like,
Yeah, there was
on the ceiling?
bats there? I think
And they were like,
might have been some
and
other
They gave us away.
vampires or demon dogs. There were a lot of things.
They were
oh yeah,
So-
yeah.
Because y'all fought in the crypt, at this point I knew that I was not strong enough to defeat you. I knew you guys would win, even with how much I had bumped up his stat block by this point. He was just not. gonna cut it. So I would use my actions or legendary actions to go and open up all the crypts that were filled with monsters to try and just like wear you down and distract you. And I think that fight took like a long time. It was a long
fight. I remember getting very frustrated because he kept running around corners and most of my spells required sight. And I was like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, they tell you up front. They're like, Strahd is very, very smart. He thinks a lot about his actions. He's not going to, like, you know, if he starts taking more damage than he can regenerate, he will try to flee and regroup and stuff like that. So I was trying my damnedest to play him smart. It was a challenge because I just knew. I was like, oh, they're going to mop the floor with me. But, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully it was challenging enough.
Yeah. That's good.
Bigby's hands.
Yeah, I remember Bigby's hands.
I put you to sleep to get that to stop.
Yeah. Yes.
And I believe, Casey, you got the killing blow, which was pretty awesome.
yeah, I think he used like a tidal wave.
Yeah, or like destructive wave or something.
Yeah, it was destructive wave, you're right.
And I think you like
I channeled
divinity.
divination. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I finally can see him. Like,
It was good. It was a good moment.
Can I just say that's the best? I think that's probably the best channel divinity.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really used it like much at all.
It was awesome. And y'all saved Barovia. And it all.
And then we went back for Christmas.
And then he went back for Christmas.
Sure did.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I didn't, but I did, you know.
I know. The Christmas one shot is absurd. Maybe we'll talk about it another day. But I don't know. I loved Curse of Strahd, but at the same time, I feel like I know that we would never go back.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be cool to like use these characters in a different situation or setting one time.
Yeah.
Another time, like I feel like that could be really fun.
Yeah. I think I just wouldn't want to go back to Barovia.
No.
No, the characters, yes.
Yeah. Because I don't want to undo the like happy ending.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the way we did it was, the way it was. And I feel like it would just be odd to kind of establish another canon of something else that happened. I don't know.
Did y'all know that in the book, as it's described, even if you defeat Strahd, he comes back and it's all for nothing?
I did.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So Kyle and I were talking about this, and he told me this, and I was like, that sucks. And I was like, because if it were a shorter campaign, that makes sense, right? Yeah. If it were shorter, it makes sense because it's like, but like with it being so long and so depressing, I'm like, that is a bitch slap in the face for real. Yeah. Like that is so bad.
Yeah.
But I get
it's
it.
Supposed to be, right?
Yeah,
right.
I think it's supposed to be. It depends on like the tone of the game that you want to play and like how you want to set it up. Because like some people when they run like, because it's like technically supposed to be gothic horror, they lean real heavy into the horror and the dread. Mm-hmm. I think we're just a little bit more of a lighthearted group, and we want good to triumph over evil. It just didn't seem like something that I'd want, and I didn't think that y'all would love that either. Because then it's like, what's the point,
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, like, I feel like we kind of needed a win because we finished when everyone was stuck at home.
Right? Yeah, so, like, I think that would have just somewhere, not been the move. I think somewhere in Kresk, when y'all were at Kresk, is when we switched to playing weekly. Mm-hmm. Not just weekly, because we...
And 2 times bi-weekly.
Yeah, 2 times a week.
2 times a week.
2 days a week, every week, because I had all of this stuff already.
And we had nothing else to do.
And we literally had nothing else to do, because it was the middle of a pandemic. That was awesome. Like playing twice a week, it was
so fun.
Crazy.
Man.
Absolutely crazy. And then when we started the next campaign, I was like, hey, so like we can't play twice a week because I will die.
That was hilarious. I mean, yeah, we are lighthearted, but you do Dread quite well, I'd say. If there's anything that we've seen.
You can have your trauma, but like, you gotta sprinkle in some funny stuff every once in a while. For sure. But yeah, I feel like it was a good campaign.
It was.
Lots of fun.
I think it's what really brought us together as a group. I think it's what solidified.
Yeah. And I also think like I'm very glad we had this during the pandemic. Like that was so nice to have like that to look forward to and to jump into. 'Cause like, in D&D, like you can go fight the monster and the evil and beat it and win. And like at the time it was like there's nothing we can do about the things that are happening, but we can do something about Strahd. It was good.
Very much needed.
Very much. I don't know. We went through everything. I don't have anything else.
That said, with it having solidified, I still feel like it is, and yet it is still worlds away, I think, from like, I guess us now, and not in like a bad way, in like a good way, in terms of like bouncing off of each other. But I think the very core, I think was solidified.
When you look at Curse of Strahd, the way we played it, like backstories aren't really a thing that come up because everybody is away from home. So like I feel like role playing wise, there's just not much.
Yeah.
Like you're just sort of reacting to everything that's happening around you. And I think that's also sort of the nature of a lot of these published games. It's interesting when I think back on like how we played through Curse of Strahd versus like, I don't know, our current games. I feel like it's very different.
Night and day, yeah.
Oh, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like, I loved running this game, but I think I really liked the I like the homebrew stuff a lot more.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love our homebrew stuff.
F yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. I name dropped Pierce today.
You did.
I know.
I was reading, so I couldn't quite see your faces very clearly.
Oh,
but I'm gonna,
we
John
all
was on the floor.
I'm gonna go back and watch.
reacted.
I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Jaw was on the floor. And Jaw doesn't know.
I know.
Joe doesn't know.
That's the best part about this character is that he probably has maybe the most like tie-in to previous Aurelian history, and he's the new one.
Bless him.
I love it. That's great.
Sense with his character and who is playing that character, because
It does make sense.
he knows the least about
That's
that
true.
campaign.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
it makes sense for him to not know shit,
Absolutely.
Well,
Oh
I
man.
guess before we get on other tangents, we should sort of close this up. I don't know. Is there anything else we want to say about Curse of Strahd? It was a good game. I think we started at level 5. We ended at level 10.
10. Yeah.
10. I don't know. We did it. We won.
Oh, I mean, I think y'all know this. Teofila, I made her as a backup character for Strahd in case Octavia died. And I went complete opposite of Magic because Octavia at level 5 or 6, she was sort of starting to get good. Or I was beginning to know how to use her. So so I kind of just went the opposite route and was just bump Magic. but she became something entirely different from what I would have thought at the time. So, which is great.
I didn't know Teo was your backup.
Yeah. So, well, I think at the time I made her a champion fighter instead of a battle master.
Yeah, I remember telling you guys, Curse of Strahd, it's so deadly. You better have a backup. Like, you're gonna need it. And then, like, nobody died except for the one person that wanted to die. You know?
Right.
Like, it's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
To this day, I haven't used my backup from that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play him at some point, but
One day. Look, if you ever want a character to die, just talk to me.
And it's like, please, I've been waiting for this.
Make an explosion happen.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, this was fun to reminisce.
Yeah.
Talk about days of yore. Oh, goodness.
But what a memorable campaign, though. That's the thing. Like, we're talking about all this stuff, and I'm just like, I remember that, like, really, like it was yesterday. I don't know.
I know. Sometimes it does feel like it wasn't that long ago. And then you stop and you think about, no, that was, like, literally years ago.
yeah.
God.
Crazy.
Ugh.
Time has become meaningless.
Time has
COVID.
become meaningless. True, though. Oh, my goodness. Good grief.
I was thinking about something today. I was like, oh yeah, I got that, like 3 years ago. I was like, wait, no, that was actually 6 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Well, and like we're coming up on like playing together for like almost 5 years for some of us. Which is weird. But then at the same time, sometimes it feels like we've been playing together for like 10 years already, you know?
Yeah.
Right, because like we just like we know each other. I feel like.
Well, and because
like,
we played
in a way, that's
so
just,
frequently, and we still do play so frequently and consistently. Like I feel like we learned so much so quickly. Like you know, I don't know. It's different.
Absolutely.
I feel like our 4.5 years of play does not compare to like an average person's 4.5 years of play, because they play like once a month, maybe, you know?
We play once a week, and for part of that, we played twice a week. For like several months of that, we played twice a week.
Yeah.
Because Amanda was like, I just want to get to the. Let's just finish this up so we can go to the homebrew, because I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. I was like, let's go. Let's get it done. I've had all these maps prepared
like,
for like a year. Literally, the first map that I had fully completed and ready to go was the Amber Temple. Isn't that wild? That was like one of the first maps.
Oh.
Well,
Well, it's probably the most
I was
complicated
excited
one.
about it. Yeah, that one was stupid because I couldn't find, at the time, I didn't have a really good quality, like, image for it to use in Roll20. So I loaded in, like, the crappiest, most pixelated version of the map, and then I rebuilt it tile by tile with, like, images layered on top of it.
Oh god.
Like,
Wow.
I placed
forgot that.
every single amber tile of that goddamn dungeon. Put little, like, shadows around the edges of the walls. Drew in all my sight lines and stuff. Stupid. I will never put that much work into a map ever again.
So much effort.
But, yeah. That was one of the first maps I finished. And like, just because it took so long. I think the castle I had ready for a while too. But that campaign was weird because I didn't quite realize that you don't need a map for every place ever. You only need a map when you fight, you know? And I hadn't learned that yet, but I learned it by the end. I learned to do a lot less work.
Yes. I remember now. I remember having the map for when we were first at the castle.
Yeah. I mean, for some things you need it for exploring, but for a lot of things you really don't need it until you get to fighting. Anyway, I guess we can Stop talking. Goodness me.
Yay, Curse of Strahd.
Well, this was a fun walk down memory lane.
I know.
Yeah.
Period.
All right, Misfits, and that brings us to the end of our sort of Curse of Strahd discussion. It was so much fun going back and just sort of remembering those moments and diving into those characters and those story beats again, and just remembering how that was for us. It was sort of a time when we all really, I feel like, came together as a group, and D&D for us changed from something that we did maybe once a month to something we really can't live without every week. And it was just fun to remember that and remember where that started. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. As with anything, if you liked our content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Make sure that you check us out on our Instagram and Twitter as well. And I hope you guys had a good time, and I'll see you again next time.